All right, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. As always, we start our meetings off with a word of prayer.
I'll let him finish real quick. Thank you, let us pray. Father God, thank you for letting us gather here safely on this beautiful evening that you've provided us. Thank you for your forgiveness of sins, your son dying on the cross and rising on the third day. Please keep your arms of healing and protection over our community members that are in need of your loving grace and healing hands. In your name I pray, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had somebody new walk in, you might wanna.
Alright.
Are you gonna speak public comment?
Myself?
No, this
So,
Gentleman in the back.
one that
On
just
it.
came in.
So- Did you wanna speak?
Sure, why not?
You have to sign up.
just sign up if whichever you wanna speak.
Sign in,
There's a
please.
regular-
So there are 3 different ones, so make sure you pick the right one you wanna
Or all
to
three.
speak to, or all 3.
I feel the love, thank you all so much.
Check our quorum.
Sure. Just finishing up. Welcome everyone. Now go ahead and call the roll, and I'll start with Mr. Cox.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Bechtel,
Here,
Ms. Kuchenbuck,
Here.
Mr. Booth,
Here.
Mr. Terman.
Here.
All right, thank you all very much.
Next is approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to it?
The only comment I would make, Mr. Chair, just to clarify for everyone, is under new business, you'll see that we listed those as an action item for both A, the addressing policy and approval, and then B, approval of the 6-year road plan. So that was to have that as an option for you all, but that isn't necessarily committing you all to take a vote this evening unless you want to. I just wanted to, that was a staff being prepared, not necessarily a decision from you all yet.
Preventive
wanna-
maintenance.
Yes, yes, so I wanted to make sure that people shouldn't be surprised if you all choose to do something else. That was just us being proactive.
Usually, if we have a lot of people speaking on a subject, we try to not do an action item until we have time to digest what we've heard. In 2 public hearings, I'd say there's gonna be a lot of digesting.
Yeah.
And public comment after that.
You
We
got that?
might need a little Pepto-Bismol, don't know.
So with that, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
second.
All right. On the motion to approve the agenda as presented, Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Bechtel,
Yes.
Ms. Kuchenbuck,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yeah.
thank you, and Mr. Terman.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Next up is the approval of the disbursements. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, the floor is open for,
Mr. Chair,
yes, go ahead.
I did have one question. It was an invoice to truck and tractor. I was just wondering what that was for.
Say that again, Levi?
Buys truck and tractor.
Invoice to truck and tractor, truck repair.
Truck repairs.
Yeah, it's Buzz, I think that was the new set that came out. Just wanna make sure.
Truck repairs.
It was like 28,000.
Yeah.
Yes, that,
The 2011
yes,
trash
if
truck.
you remember, that was referenced, when we were discussing, thinking about that was the truck that was that was estimated to cost about $25,000 to $30,000. It was finally done. So that has been sitting there, and that's that same 2000, we have two 2011s. So, that was the one that we kind of spoke about that held with that decision.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can't do that, Lois.
Anybody else have any questions?
Which one was that under?
5161. What vendor is 5161, do you know off the top?
No.
What?
Let me see if I can.
It's the top of the list,
Top two.
top two.
Oh.
Was that an ended?
Yes, that's the one that was here that ended up in Charlottesville, and so the procedure was done there and brought back
Gotcha.
here.
And I figured that's what it was.
Keith? Thank you very much.
I didn't know it's that exact one.
Right.
So the floor is open for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the disbursements.
Second.
All right, on the motion to approve the disbursements as presented, Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yeah,
thank you, Ms. Bechtel,
Yes,
Mr. Terman,
Yes.
thank you.
Next, we'll move down to approval of the minutes. I think Mr. Booth was absent on that one, right? On the 8th.
that's right.
Yeah, I was absent, so I'll be abstaining.
Anybody have any corrections or comments? Do you have anything, Levi?
no, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Okay. We have a motion to approve them as amended or as presented. You wanna second that, Levi? Alright.
Yeah,
Okay,
Thank you.
motion second, go ahead, call for it.
He tried
Okay.
to do yours.
Okay. On the
The last
approval
one.
of the minutes as presented, Ms. Bechtel,
Yes,
Mr. Cox,
yeah,
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Booth,
Abstain.
thank you, and Mr. Terman.
Yes,
All right, thank you.
I do wanna add though, these minutes are great with all of the different things that are getting put in with them, so yeah, it's really, really nice to be able to redigest and go over things again and yeah, it's very nice.
okay, before I open the public hearing, read my statement. I'm just gonna read it once and I'm gonna hit the cover for all three of them. That's why I don't have to repeat myself so much. Says, it is the intent that all persons attending the meeting of the board, regardless of handicap conditions, shall have an opportunity to participate. If any person present requires any special assistance, please let the board know in order that arrangements can be made. With that, I'll open the public hearing on our Floyd County addressing policy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
In our packets, we had 2 copies.
Yes, sir.
The one we're going to public hearing with, the one that he cleaned up and
Both of them were, drafted and cleaned up, revised by
So,
Durbin.
so they're slightly different.
Yes,
Two
they are,
different, two different options.
they are.
And Mr. Durbin created both of them to let you have options today, and
we can
so,
do both of them in one public hearing instead of separate hearings for
Yes, sir.
each one. Okay, I just
And
wanted to
I
make
So-
sure.
I
So
was
wouldn't,
gonna let him, explain the policies and proposals.
I'll
So
try
you
to
can-
give a brief
You can cover
overview.
that both,
Yeah.
That's all right.
But I just wanted to make sure because First time
But
that's ever
doesn't
happened.
one kind of over supersede the other?
One would, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I read it. Okay,
Option A, option B, not option
A, B,
prime.
correct.
So you do have, you do have before you, two versions of a proposed ordinance that would amend the county's, addressing ordinance, addressing policy. Currently, the way it works is that, the building official can assign a address number, street number. For structures that, are existing, with a phone line or safety line, DSL, upon consultation with the emergency management coordinator. Or an address may be issued, with it not having a phone line if it's, any structure on a permanent foundation. Again, this is issued by the building official. This is the policy that the county currently has. So you've gotta have, basically, you've gotta have a structure, you've gotta have a building in order to get an address. The board was looking at possible ways to open that up a little bit to address a number of situations, but one of those situations being, I might have a farm that's on two separate lots. I've got the house on one lot, and then, on the other side of the street or down the road a little ways might be some land where I'm farming. And without an address, it makes it difficult for deliveries, but primarily for emergency first responders if there's an accident at the site. It'd be helpful to have an address there. So there are a number of reasons why that might be useful, but those were the first two that that we primarily discussed. So based on that, we prepared an ordinance that where it's still administered by the building official, and we've discussed this one previously. This is the version we discussed when the board approved going to public hearing. This version, it is still administered by the building official, but it does open up the possibility of having an address provided at property without a structure, upon showing that you have legal ownership of it. And this proposed ordinance does provide that it must be a legal lot. You must show that you have legal ownership of it, and only one address per legal parcel. That's what you've gone to public hearing on initially, but we've advertised two options. Based on some feedback that we received from staff, that having the building official administer it might be a little cumbersome. So we prepared an option that basically says that, the county administrator shall be the person to issue that, or some individual designated by the county administrator. So right now, that may still be the building official if you adopt the ordinance as submitted. Or the county administrator might, depending on workload, change that up from time to time, just to see as what's more appropriate to serve the public. The other changed, it would allow more than one address to be issued on a legal parcel in a situation where because one of the scenarios that was brought up is, well, what if I have the primary residence and then we've got family living in a accessory structure? Shouldn't they have the ability to have an address without doing a subdivision? Of course, doing a subdivision is always an option, but this would allow more than one legal address per parcel if you show that you've got two certificate of occupancies, two building permits for that property, just so you're still having some control, it's legal structures. Or vacant land can be issued an address as well upon showing that you have legal ownership and that it's a legally existing lot. So you have two options before you for consideration and for comments from the public. And of course, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address it at this time.
And that's the only two differences between the two. The assignment of who could be issuing it, and if I may, in that instance with the homes, like you could have 101 Bluebird Lane and 101A Bluebird Lane, or whatever, however it's assigned.
Yes, sir.
That's where you're getting to that point.
That's correct. Yeah, the two differences are, it's primarily that someone other than the building official could be designated to be the person to handle this process, and it would allow more than one address per structure. But both of the new options would allow an undeveloped lot to receive an address as well.
I have a question on the version that allows the county administrator or designee. Later on in that paragraph, it says that a parcel of record having more than one structure approved for human occupancy. So this gets back into the needing a building on, so if you have for example, Daddy Rabbits, so those don't have building permits or commercial structures, so they could only have one street address for all those spots. Is that right?
That's the intention of how I drafted it.
Okay,
So
so there's
yes,
one
and
street address.
your point actually brings up another point. It doesn't, it's not intended to just give addresses to an agricultural building, if you've got more than one agricultural building on a property. The
Right.
property itself could have an address,
Even without a commercial, without the certificate of occupancy, you
right?
can still get one street address.
But it would just be for the land, you know,
Okay. That's just a clarification.
no, it's a good point.
It's not, the second version doesn't require the building permits and the footers and all the other things
Right.
that the current ordinance requires.
Right,
Okay.
right. Neither of the proposed options would require the footers and the building permit
Okay.
to at least get a permit for, or a address for the land.
And this option opens it up if you've got more than two structures with residential structures, whatever they are, then each one can have an address.
Yes, yeah, and it conceivably you'd have a residential structure and a permitted commercial structure, and they could get separate addresses on one parcel.
Yeah, like in Jordan, you've got a business, you know, you could have a home business, you could have your home and then have your business.
My little cabin, I could put an address.
Yes.
It's the only question, yeah, that's it.
When two people come in.
And that would be,
Make sure they're not on that.
and in our packet, that last one we were discussing was option 2, right?
Correct.
Yep.
And if I might, Mr. Chair, since we had a couple more folks that came in, welcome. And so we've been offering everyone the opportunity that if you wanna speak to either this issue, which is the Floyd County addressing policy, or the next issue, which will be the 6-year road plan, or would like to make a general comment,
That's number 2.
if you would come sign up, if you wanna speak on any of those things, then we'll go ahead and call your name when it's appropriate and let you speak. Thank you.
Sorry I'm late. The wrong address was posted on Facebook, so I was wandering around town.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Glad you got here.
What address is on this?
It was 202 West Main Street.
Oh, it's east.
And then also I went to the old building too.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
East.
I know.
LLL.
Well, thank you, I'll take care of that. Sorry about that.
No
But you
worries.
still got your name.
As long as I can still talk.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, so I guess the public comment on,
Did Levi have any questions?
do you have any questions, Levi?
No, sir.
So, Mr. Chair, we do have, let's see, about 6 folks that have signed up to speak on this issue.
Okay. an address.
On addressing?
Go ahead.
So if you would like to, have you opened the public hearing yet? Okay, the 4 minutes, okay, I was out, I apologize. So with that, Laura, is it Hare?
Yes.
Yeah, here, okay, from Indian Valley.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura.
Well, thank you very much for listening to me this evening. It's kind of
Before
funny,
you
I
get-
signed up,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Start her time again.
Oh.
It's your
I
time.
meant to tell you.
Okay. I already timed myself before I came, so I
you
won't
go.
run over.
I
And
got so much stuff in my brain.
right,
But anyway, when you come to the podium,
yes, sir.
state your name, district you're from, limit your comments to 4 minutes. And this is a one-way conversation. We don't respond tonight. We just listen.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Laura Hare, and I'm a new, I am from Indian Valley District. I've just moved here about a year and a half ago. Floyd is my dream of 10 years for retirement. I'm now 70, and I'm doing it. I absolutely love this county. I love everything about it. It is my dream. But I had to find a way to be able to retire. As a music therapist and a business owner in Richmond, Virginia for 35 years, I still needed, this was not my dream to live in the city. It was in the mountains, and Floyd is it, especially as a music therapist. On a visit here, I saw, and I had been researching tiny homes. And that's a little different, and I think it's an up-and-coming thing that Floyd County is being asked to address anyway. That was perfect, because it has allowed me, I bought a tiny home from Dave Larson, who is a business person here. Had it towed, because it is not a movable, or you can't tow it on your own, to a piece of property they also bought in Willis. My home is 44 feet long and 12 feet wide. It has, I have completely developed my land. Mark Boltz has given me a certificate of occupancy. I have a septic system. I have an underground electric system. I have a Briggs and Stratton backup emergency generator. And a 250-pound propane tank to take care of it. So I'm not moving here as an elderly person that's going to rely on my county to take care of me. And I know that there are concessions to be made when you move to a new place. But it was funny, because when I signed up, and then you asked me to sign up my address, I don't have one. And my concern is, of course, the biggest thing, emergency. You know, I don't want to rely on GPS cell phone proximity for an emergency for fire, police, or ambulance. And I think it's a safety issue. I want to be a contributing member of the Floyd community, and have already started that. Have wonderful neighbors. I'm developing my property. It is a permanent fixtured home. It can't be pulled up and moved easily. Even my underground sewer system and pipes are built into the permanent foundation. So this is not something that can just be picked up and just moved. It is a permanent structure, and it is completely made of logs. It has a 40-year standing roof. Metal roof. So this isn't some little trailer or little bitty camper that I've pulled up. This is my forever home, and I'm hoping that you guys will give me an address. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next is Victoria Mall, is that correct? Yes. All right, thank you. And please, as the chairman stated, please state your name when you get up here for the record, and which district you reside in. Thank you.
My name is Victoria Mall. I believe it's Berks Fork District. So yeah, we wanted to come tonight because, as well as the last lady, we also do not qualify for an address. After buying our property, we called and confirmed with the county offices on what we needed to do. We were told multiple times all we needed was just a permitted project and then we get an address. So we did permit our deck, which is we own a yurt that we got from Blue Ridge Yurts, which is also not a building that's a permitted building. There's no permits for that, just the deck itself because there isn't anything for that. And so then we went through the process, we got, our deck was approved, everything was good, and then much later, then we get a call from the main inspector basically saying we do not qualify for an address because it's not considered a single family home as a yurt, which was extremely disappointing because that was not what we had understood previously. So, you know, as you know, an address is needed for getting a driver's license, for getting lots of things, you need a physical address. So we do a PO box, but fortunately we don't have a physical address, which would be great to have. I do think that putting all of it on the building official, the first option you guys said, maybe is not the best way to go about it, because there have been things that I was told could only be answered by him and I need to email him. A year later, I still don't have like an email response. So I do feel like there's a lot of things on his plate. And so maybe opening up to other administrators would be good, since it does sound like, I'm surprised that she didn't have an address, the last lady, because that sounded like she met everything that would need to be met. But maybe a tiny house is also not considered a single family home, so I don't know. So anyway, I would say I'm all for the second option, I guess, which kind of opens up the approval of addresses to owning just a piece of land, so there's not questions over which things qualify and then getting differing information from differing officials. And then yes, also if you have multiple buildings, multiple addresses sounds good too. I don't have that as an option yet, but maybe in the future I might have a family member move onto our property or something. So yeah.
Am I missing anything?
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Oh, there.
Thank you. So, Joni, let's see, the next speaker is Joni Carr from Floyd.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you tonight.
Can you say your name again?
Joni Carr from Floyd.
Okay.
3 years ago, I came here and just absolutely fell in love with the place and purchased 12 acres. It's over on Cypress Drive Southeast, which is by Blue Ridge Parkway and Franklin Pike. It's right across from Hartman Auto, if anyone knows where that is.
That's the
It's
Locust Grove district.
Yeah, it's been subdivided into 5 parcels and I have one
Right.
of them. It actually had an address at one point in time and there's still a mailbox there. I have done a lot to the property in the last 3 years. I was going to do a yurt, but it just got too expensive with the platform and everything, so I bought a tiny home, not knowing that there was any restrictions whatsoever. Almost exactly the same story as Laura. I have septic, I have fiber optic, it's totally contained, it's 38 feet long by 14 wide. I dug a well, and I mentioned the septic is in, fiber optics, and I'm just waiting on electric right now. But my biggest problem is I'm 70 and retired, and I can't get medical insurance. My medical insurance is actually out of Florida, but I need a 911 address to transfer it to Virginia. My driver's license is due soon, and again, it's a government building. They will not, or government, will not accept a PO box, which I have. So I'm, extremely held up, I mean, in the biggest of ways. I got tags for my car, but I don't know where the actual tag ended up. But I have the paper in my car in case I do get stopped saying that I did pay for it. And I mean, it's a big, big, big thing to not have a 911 address. And, being a senior, I mean, things can happen as well for emergency vehicles and such as that. My daughter is moving up, she's 32, and she's gonna move up on the property. This is her dream as well. And we need a 911 address for her. She wants to transfer her driver's license from North Carolina to here. And I need to do that as well, because mine's in Florida, where I came from. So these are really big issues, and I don't know how to even begin to continue life here without having a 911 address so I can be legal, pretty much. And I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I try to do everything by the book. But I'm hoping that this can be worked out. It's a beautiful tiny home. It's not going anywhere, like Laura was saying. It's secured on footers, and it's not moving. So, thank you so much for letting me speak.
Next on the list is Glenn Herman. Floyd?
I'm Glenn Herman. I'm another one that doesn't have an address. I think we must be in the courthouse district. My wife Jane is not here with me tonight, but she told me what she wanted me to be sure to say to you, so I'll be sure to say that to you. We give friends as a GPS address, 1096 Haycock Road Southeast, which is near Shooting Creek Road. And it's right across the road from Tony and Sonia Griffith, which is 1097. So if you turn left, you go to them. If you turn right. So I'm guessing we're 1096 Haycock Road Southeast. That would work really well if we had that as an address. We are on LCF land of David Larson's group, and there are 11 sites there. They're going to have about 9 of us in the various sites. There are 5 families there now. The one site-built home, tiny home, is about finished. I think they're working through the licensing and so on. So it's a permanent community. The first speaker said so much things that apply to us. I promised my wife that I would tell you basically how we almost died, but it was carbon monoxide poisoning, and thanks to your volunteer fire department, they sent out 2 people the first night, and they sent out 6 people the second night, separated by about 3 nights. We have a Lancaster log cabin from eastern Pennsylvania. It was rolled onto the property on July 1 of last year, 2024. So we've been there about 9.5 months. We're permanently there. The axles have been removed, the wheels have been removed, the trailer hitch has been removed. There's skirting, everything's plugged into what LCF had available for us to plug into. But in the sheriff's department dispatcher was great. She called us every couple hours to make sure we were still awake and alive. The Amish people put in a carbon monoxide detector combination with smoke detector up in the ceiling, or we would have probably died in our sleep. So we need a 911 address. What we did was to give 1096 Haycock Road Southeast is a GPS address. And we went down with our car headlights on so they would know where to turn in, and then led them up to where we were. So we'd be very happy to have an address. Also, as was mentioned before by several people, I think we cannot change our Ohio license plates and driver's license over to Virginia until we have a street address. We have a post office box, and if we want something delivered by FedEx or somebody, we're allowed to give the street address for the post office with suite number 422, which is our post office box address. Be happy to answer any questions that anybody wants to ask, but you said you're not allowed to talk with this. But I'd be happy to talk with anybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Come on.
That's you, thank you. Come on.
Commissioners, thank you. Staff, thank you.
Tell us your whole
Oh
name.
yeah,
so-
my name is Anand Raghunathan. It's like on and off without the off. Seems to work. I'm in the Locust Grove district, and I'm here because I don't have an address yet. So we bought land in that district, and we're happy. We're excited to be present and start basically our forever home project. We are really ready to kind of get started on all things. We bought a piece of property that was a large farm that was subdivided, it had a perk test, it had a well site, had a building site all added to it. It just seems incongruous that they wouldn't already just give us an address since it's got 5 sites already been identified for it. So I just feel that as a citizen or approaching to be a citizen in Floyd, that it's my opportunity to pay for the services that I'm taking advantage of here. So getting an address, I can get my tags, my license. We have property, vehicles we can register. We can get medical. So I appreciate the opportunity for you to consider giving all of us an address. That's all we want. Thank you.
And last, Mr. Chairman, we have John Lockwood.
I'm John Lockwood. I live in Indian Valley, but I don't know exactly where because I don't have an address. I'm very happy that this is finally being discussed. Obviously, all the people in this room are impacted and a lot more, but also it's been a way of life in Floyd for decades where people buy land here and they're trying to survive. And then in the meantime, while they're saving up money or finding the right time to build a home, they're running a business or working. So me personally, I operate a business and not having an address has made it very challenging. First of all, we all paid taxes a few weeks ago. What did you put on your tax forms? I know, rhetorical question you can't answer. I made something up. I live in Floyd, I just made it up, I don't know what to do. Driver's license, made it up. Virginia law requires that we have an address, but I've tried to get an address and I can't get one from Floyd County. So let's just talk about also how I'm in the same situation as other people. I have a health department permanent outhouse. I have a health department permanent septic system that's new. I have a new health department well. I have 4 buildings for materials and or office buildings that have internet, insulation, electric, that are all on permanent foundations. I have an RV. I have a barn. But the point is, I need it to be able to order materials to my property. I need to be able to pay taxes, and when I do pay taxes, I need to be able to take advantage of the services that I'm paying for, such as roads. Driving is not a privilege, it's a necessity. We need to do that to survive. Not just to get emergency services to our home, but to get food, to be employed, to everything. It's not like I can ride a horse to the store now. We don't have that anymore. So we all have to drive. I pay for it, and I would like to be able to have a legal driver's license with my address on it. I've been in homes, cause I'm a contractor, and I've seen homes that are addressed where like maybe cats live in them. I mean, homes with a rotten wooden foundation that's basically about to collapse. Homes that are ungrounded with electric, homes with no insulation, homes with no air sealing, homes with leaking roofs. I've seen it all, it's addressed. So why am I not allowed to have an address, but those properties have an address? So I just wanted to say there's a lot of other people too that aren't here. Like Weathertop Farm comes to mind, where those guys were living in a RV with 5 kids while they got their farm started, and now they have hundreds of acres in check. We need businesses here, and we need people like that. Like it's not just, it's some people retiring, but it's a lot of people that are helping the economy that are here. I bought land here, I'm here to stay. Yeah, I prepared notes, but I didn't bring them, so.
Doing fine.
Tell the story.
But yeah, so I would really appreciate you all looking into this. I think at the very least, if you're not a threat to the community, like if you don't have like an open sewage ground or something like that, then I think you should be able to get an address if you live on a property. So if you're camping, but you have a septic system or an outhouse that's health department permitted or whatever, you're living in a yurt, camping in an RV, and you have permanent electric in a building with a foundation, and you have a business, you should be able to get an address. If I stop my business right now, I can't pay my guys, then they can't take care of their families. So, like, I employ people here. We brought in $250,000 of revenue in Floyd last year. Okay, that's it. Mic drop.
First time we heard the bell.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
I was gonna rant until it rang again.
We hadn't heard the bell yet.
Mr. Chairman, I would, that's our last speaker. I would note, however, a couple of these folks under address wrote, one said, "We need one, TBD and LOL." So I just thought I'd share that with you all. But that was your last speaker.
I don't know if it's appropriate for me to make a statement or not, but I think that these people made an effort to be here tonight. It's very important to them. They went through the necessary paperwork and everything. Maybe Mark could move their permits up top, so when we get this food, they'll be the first ones to get to approve.
Once you, assuming you all take action,
Right.
Yeah, and I would suggest that maybe that paper get passed around so that somebody's phone numbers can get put on, so that
So
our
we can
county
contact.
staff can
Right.
get a hold of them quickly.
I'm gonna make this motion.
So if that
It's,
that paperwork could get passed out
he said wait till the next.
before they leave.
Well, that being the case, can I sign up and say something? Cause if you're getting pushed to the top, I'd like to be on that. Is that possible?
What's your name, Patrick? What's your name? We'll note that you were here.
Alright.
Alright, Fed out closed the public comment on, public hearing on. Any address and policy. Thank each and every one of you for coming. We don't know if they won't tell us.
Alright,
Got it on the list, didn't
yeah, I know. But it's for a while now.
So with that, we can move down to our 6-year road plan public hearing.
so for that, Mr. Chairman, we have 4 folks. So would you like me to go ahead and, no? Yes. All right. Did you want Mr. Clark to come speak for a moment?
Yeah, I'd like for him to, if you would. I was looking for him, but he's.
He's hidden.
I'd like Mr. Clark to come speak.
He turns out to be in the back of the room.
All right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you was way over in the corner, right?
He snuck in.
Yeah,
You opened the public.
I got the good seat.
yeah, I said, with that, I'd open the
Oh,
public hearing.
okay.
You weren't paying attention.
I'm trying. It's been a long day. Just so you get it.
Alrighty, David, if you wanna give us an explanation of the existing plan funds available.
Okay, I'll start off with just a little bit of opening, and for those who don't know, I'm David Clark, the Virginia Department of Transportation resident engineer. Our office is in Christiansburg, but we have Floyd, Giles, Montgomery, and Pulaski counties operating mostly maintenance and stuff out of our office. But this public hearing that the board is getting ready to have is for the secondary road 6-year plan. Every year, the counties of Virginia are allocated a certain amount for construction. That money is programmed into a priority list by the Board of Supervisors. It is different than maintenance money. The maintenance money is sent out to the districts and then to the residency offices, and our guys from their lots in Willis and in Czech and other areas we have in our counties use those funds for typical ordinary maintenance like mowing and snow removal and maintenance of gravel roads and pothole patching and so forth. This is for improvements to roads, and VDOT makes a very great distinction about how funds are spent. Maintenance money cannot be spent on construction, and so therefore there's a separate construction allocation to the counties. And by law, VDOT holds a joint public hearing with the Board of Supervisors to discuss the upcoming fiscal year, the allocations for that year, and for the board to hear suggestions or requests from the public before they make the priority list for the year. So we start off with a draft plan. It's basically last year's plan minus the roads that were completed on that plan. I'll read through those, what's there now, and then the board can hear from those who've signed up to speak on what you would like to add. I will make just kind of a note that from the ones that are on there, the ones that are being dropped off, you will probably be able to add at least 3 or 4 roads to the plan this year. So the board does have a good decision to make here in the next month or so. I know it's an item for tonight. They don't have to make that decision as far as I'm concerned tonight. The board can do what it pleases, but I would like to have a resolution from the board by the end of the fiscal year. So, any other questions before I go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you talk about any of these roads tonight and they'll be dropping off because of certain other individuals on said roads that do not want to give you rights of ways and is stopping the project, could you please specify that for us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, then I'll start off right away with the good news is that we finished Starbuck and Hope Road is under construction, so those will not be needed to be added to the 6-year or kept on the 6-year plan this coming year. We'll start with our first priority, which is Reedsville Road. That actually is under construction right now. But because a little bit of a kind of confusion, or it's very late in the year that we're now starting it, we're gonna keep it on the 6-year plan for funding purposes.
Good. I was
Yeah.
gonna interject, I had some that wanted it to remain on there.
Yes,
They had been told it was gonna drop off,
yes.
so
No,
this will
we're gonna
stay.
keep Reedsville on there right now. Like several roads that we've had to do though, the current project goes about a half a mile from Route 729 to basically the first bridge. We had hoped to get to the second bridge and even stipulated when the board passed the rural rustic resolution for it, you named Reedsville a rural rustic road all the way to Wade. That's about 1.2 miles. We and this is what I was alluding to when we said we've had to do this to several roads throughout the residency, and one in Floyd County. We're not able to go all the way to Wade due to a restriction in environmental policy, not a VDOT policy. Other environmental agencies have limited VDOT to an acre of disturbance land unless you build a stormwater management pond. Those are large, they take up property. Generally, when we get right of way for a road, we're asking for maybe 5 feet on each side, maybe a little bit more if there's a cut slope where we have to go up a bank and widen the road on that. Sometimes even that's just an easement. So we're really looking for trying to make the road as wide as we as we can safely without, again, a rural rustic road is supposed to maintain the kind of rural rustic nature of a road. We're not gonna go down there and build, 25 feet of pavement with 4-foot shoulders and large ditches. First of all, we don't have the money for that. Second of all, it's not what most of the rural counties wanna see. What you wanna see is enough pavement to make it safer, fix the drainage and get out of the dust and mud. That's what people generally want out of a road. VDOT recognized that a long time ago and came up with this rural rustic standard. It's just a standard of road building so that we have some guideline to go by instead of just going out and paving willy-nilly. So we do go by the rural rustic standard, which is still rather lenient or loose. What we try to do is get about 16 feet of pavement, maybe a foot or so of shoulder on each side, and then adequate ditches where necessary. So even that on some of these roads requires quite a bit of work, and you really, depending on how long the project is, you get into that acre of disturbance. So for Reedsville in particular, well, let's start with the other one. Hope Road is the one we had to cut short. We had about a half a mile of Hope Road on there. We could not go the entire way. We had to cut Hope Road short. As we got into the engineering, and this is not something we know beforehand on a road. We wish we could eyeball it and tell, but we really can't until we get into it. Reedsville, we ran into the acre of disturbance limit at about the second bridge, which is about a half a mile, little over, probably closer to 6/10 of a mile, 6 or 7/10 from the Laurel Branch side. Got into it, found out we couldn't get, couldn't go any further than that. And then there's about a 1/10 of a mile between the first bridge and the second bridge. And then we ran into just some right-of-way issues where we were gonna have to take out a large bank, which had some landscaping on there. And they didn't want that done, so we ended up cutting that short. We went back and forth there. We tried to make it a little bit more narrow. Either way, the property owners didn't want us to build that last 1/10 of a mile. It's really the kind of the middle 1/10 of a mile from what was originally thought we might be able to do based on funding alone. And so now the project will end about half a mile from Laurel Branch at the first bridge. There's a 1/10 of a mile to get to the next bridge, and then there's another about another 5/10, 6/10 to get to Wade Road. So the project that's currently in the 6-year plan is basically it's just Reedsville Road. But the part we're working on ends at the first bridge. That's where we're gonna end this project. Similar to Hope, we had to end it kind of at the top of the hill. And we've had to do it, and we're having to do it it's affected every county. We're cutting a road short in Giles County on Prospectdale Road. We're doing it in Montgomery County on Taylor Hollow Road. Yeah.
And is that because a landowner cannot, just to clarify it for everybody, and that's because landowners will not give you rights of way that allow you to make the road that you're supposed to make?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and it's not because you don't wanna do it.
correct.
And for those in our audience and those watching at home on TV, if you wonder sometimes why we have roads in this county that are paved and then they go to gravel and then they're paved and then they go to gravel again, it is because homeowners do not give the right of way to the Virginia Department of Transportation to pave that road.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with Mount Pleasant Road in Montgomery County, which goes from Allegheny Spring Road up towards Christiansburg, we have about a 1/3 of a mile section that's unpaved. Either side, you got several miles, and we just, instead of killing the project, we just, all right, we won't pave under this man's property. And so there's a middle section that's about 3/10 of a mile that we didn't pave. We did that in Giles County one time too. So it's kind of a long explanation for Reedsville because there's 2 reasons why we're not going as far as what was when the road was first put in the plan. Road was first put in the plan thinking we could go 1.2 miles to Wade. There's 2 reasons we're not going all the way to Wade. First reason we're not going all the way to Wade Lane is the acre of disturbance gets us. The acre of disturbance ends at the second bridge, but we're not going to the second bridge because we couldn't get the right of way between the first and second bridge.
You mean on Reedsville?
On Reedsville, what did I say?
Yeah, you said
Approved.
No. Hope Road, that's not a problem with the right of way. Hope, in fact, we have the right of way to get all the way through Hope, all the way. If it ever comes a part that we can do that. Now, what we don't know is, so what happens now between the first bridge and, let's say, Wade Lane? Could you put it on the plan for next year? I don't think so. They're not gonna let us just split projects in half to get around an environmental regulation. But there's probably some window of time, we just don't know what that window of time is. I don't think we haven't tested it, we haven't gotten a written opinion from that. And they probably would be hesitant to give a window of time in a written.
5 years on Hope Road and let it be the guinea pig.
Yeah, we'll try that out. So that's where we are in Reedsville. The number one priority on the list right now is we're under construction. I think they're out cutting trees. And it's planned to do the first half mile, which is your Laurel Branch to the first bridge. The next section could almost be done. Now see, it all comes down to that acre now. So from the second bridge to Wade could be done technically under a pave in place or pave as is kind of program, but you're paving a very narrow road with no room on either side to make an error. You gotta drop off on one side, you got kind of a cliff on another. You'd like a little bit of shoulder, some of it is only, 14 feet wide or something like that.
And also, under the pave in place, there's no future upgrades.
That's true.
It stays the way it is when you do it. That's what we ended up doing out by Mayberry Mill, and I don't know if that was a mistake or not.
The reasoning on that is because, I'll get to that here, your funding comes, 90% of it is earmarked for unpaved roads. So you can only use unpaved road money on an unpaved road that has a traffic count of 50 vehicles or more. So once you pave it, it's no longer an unpaved road, you can't tap into that fund. So in this draft plan, we have Reedsville top priority. We're gonna leave it top priority right now until we get anything else hashed out, until this project is done. Second is we're looking at doing some improvements to the just a little bit at the Merrifield intersection with Deer Valley. Couldn't remember the last part. Number 3 was added last year. That's Sunny Ridge. We can do part of that. Part of it doesn't have the traffic, so I think it's the southern end, oddly, that has the traffic count. Number 4 was added last year. It's DeHart Store. Right now, DeHart Store does not have traffic, but it does have 40 vehicles a day, which is, I looked at our 2023 or 24 traffic counts have it up to 40. So you can leave that on there if you'd like, and we're not gonna do, we won't do anything with it till we do the others, and so maybe by then it'll get 10 more vehicles a day.
Dropping that and then put them in that and then,
Yeah.
somebody get in trouble.
And then that's the last named project on the list. There's probably room to add, like I said, at least probably three or four more. But that's the list. You get, Floyd County, it's based on miles of unpaved road, so that you get, the county gets about $1 million a year for paving roads. Now, Hope is costing close to that because of, it's going to contract. Reedsville's is not costing that much because we're doing that with our state forces. So it's hard to gauge. Sometimes it's about $500,000 to do a half a mile, and a half a mile is kind of when we run into that acre disturbance. So that leaves you a lot, in the future to use. But then again, we like to have a mix of putting out the contract and using our state forces. It's really helping our guys this year because it gives us some ease on our maintenance budget here at the end of the year. But if we're building roads on the secondary construction project, secondary 6-year plan, then we're not out maintaining roads, and we need to spend as much of our time as possible on maintenance. So we like to do them by contract. It helps out our our contracting community around. But we like to keep a little bit for ourselves because our guys like doing them, and it's good for us to stay in that kind of shape and using some of that equipment. So a good mix is nice, and so we'll always have some of those that cost a little bit more than than just $500,000. It could be anywhere from $500,000 to, for a half mile, to $750,000 or so, or close to $1 million for a half mile. The way that's all I have as far as opening remarks. Like I said, you'll be able to pick some roads. But unless there's any other questions in general from the board, I'll leave it to all the names.
No, probably listen to the public comment,
Yeah.
and then we'll do our 6-year add-ons. We don't wanna do that tonight?
Do what?
Said no, just before the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, no, you got some, unless you guys already have a list that you'd like to go ahead and do. I mean, like I said, the board can pass whatever it wants.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just saying I don't have to have it tonight, if you're freaking out about having to pass them tonight.
On the pave in place, does that 50 count still apply?
Yes. Yeah, any of these unpaid road funds
So
has to be
that's
50 vehicles a
something
day.
that changed between the last time I was on the board and this time, so. Previously, I'm talking 2000 to 2008. I know back in the
Stone Age, yeah.
You know, when rural rustic first came out, it wasn't, nobody, Junior nor Bob Beasley said anything to us ever.
It's always been, I thought, now they may have had some other funds, that's to use unpaid road funds. Back then, we had other funds that were available. Now it's 90% unpaid road funds. So you only had to have the 50 if you're using the unpaid road funds. They used to get other funds other than that, and you could have used those on anything.
Well, that knocks one out already. I'm gonna put it on the list because it was requested, but I'm sure when y'all check it.
Which one's that?
Well, I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll wait.
Let's see if
Any other
Mr.
questions?
Cox has any questions?
Hey, Levi, you have anything? Thank you.
No questions.
I'll just step aside, I'll be back after the, any other questions after the.
Do we have to open this public hearing?
We already
Open up,
opened.
how do I keep missing this? Sorry. So, all right, Mr. Chairman, so the first person that's on the list is Jonathan Vest from Czech.
Slide up here if I may.
It's in the Little River District.
Thank you. It is Little River District.
Okay,
I brought these to pass out amongst the board members if they would like to partake in my trees today.
I can tell what you do for a living.
Raising trees is job security amongst cattle and little ones in Floyd County. I'd also like to submit this as a 26 signature request from citizens along Sunny Ridge and landowners and residential individuals along the road, even though we may not travel that north side or anticipated at 50 plus a day. That's only because our road is rarely in decent enough shape on that day, but on any given day. But that's why we're here to talk and bring this up. So he started my thing without me. My name is Jonathan Vest. My wife is Pamela Vest. We're residents of Floyd County. We live on 1133 Sunny Ridge Road. I have other folks from the road right here behind me. I have Mr. Elkins and Mr. Custer. They're on the south end that we're talking about, having just recently learned that we are on the 6-year plan, which we're grateful for. But we're selfish. We don't want to come out of the plan until that road is half mile, full mile, whatever, along the 4.11 mile stretch from Hale Road all the way to Bethlehem Church. As I understand it, and looking at some of the more recent numbers, I'm not sure where VDOT has all theirs, but to participate in the Rural Rustic Road Program, here's that manual as well. So if the board of supervisors would like to see what that program fully entails and its requirements, it's there. The pave in place. Sunny Ridge is unique in that we've had both ends of our road years ago prepped so that we could handle the cattle, the milking tanker and the various traffic on either ends. It was widened and it was in beautiful shape. As far as initially getting things widened out. So we're not looking at a need for additional huge amount of disturbance. We're not looking at, acres as we go every half mile or whatever down the road. We have 26 residents along the road. And in fact, most of the residents here right now behind us could fill and provide land access or road access for whatever adjustments need to be made from Hale Road to Double Springs intersection with Sunny Ridge. I and myself and probably your other supervisor member could provide for the next 3,300 feet of Sunny Ridge Road and get you through two main chutes. The chutes that created the serious vehicle accident a few years back with the young man breaking his legs and tearing up the two vehicles and things, as well as the fact that we've swapped mayors again just this past year and the year prior in areas along the road. Not necessarily from the road condition itself in the middle, but the fact that when it gets overgrown or everything washes from where we used to have ditches into the center, and we avoid that center line of rut and ravine in the center, we are on someone else's side of the road just trying to get our vehicles across. I would encourage any board member, whether it be Indian Valley or whatever it may be, come Sunday morning, and when you get done with church, ride Sunny Ridge all the way out from the other side. You'll have 3 days of rain on it, and you'll see why people don't want to travel the north route out in the event after we have regular weather events. We fill in our ditches every winter with snow and with the plowing, which we appreciate, but then the ditches, unless it's the landowners themselves, unless we're out there making those adjustments to put the gravel back up and the crown back on, our center of our road becomes the ditch. So I am here to request that now that we are in the 6-year plan, that Sunny Ridge remain in whatever capacity of funding is necessary, whether it be pave in place or rural rustic road monies, so that we can improve the dust, the inconsistent travel conditions, particularly during the wet weather, the paving, so that residents can benefit from safer travel. Just the fact that the fire trucks and the rescue squads cannot get to my house, that in a timely manner to address even a fire. We'd like to see that. We'd like to see Sunny Ridge remain in the 6-year plan until we see it paved from one side to the other. Then I'll come visit for Double Springs.
Next is Chip Camp from Floyd. I just left.
My name is Chip Camp. I live here in Floyd. I live on Sandy Flats Road. I live between Shooting Creek and Harvestwood. The section of road of Sandy Flats that's not paved. I've only been here 5 years, and I have not, up until 3 days ago, I was never aware of any 6-year plan. So I have no idea what's in it. I would love to see it. I didn't realize it existed or where I can access it, but I would love to see it. The problem that I'm having is I can't understand why Sandy Flats was paved from Poor Farm to Harvestwood and then completely discontinued. And it's just, and I'm running into the same, Jonathan's been in my house. I'm running into the same problem that Jonathan is. There are school buses that run through there. I have actually had to stop, back up into a driveway to let a school bus go by. First of all, it's not wide enough. Secondly, the same problem that Jonathan has, if we get a good storm, that storm we had from that ice storm, when that was over with, there were potholes big enough to swallow a Volkswagen Beetle. I mean, and I contacted VDOT the only thing I could do was to go ahead and put an application in via the internet and tell them that this road had to be repaired. It took 7 weeks. Now, I'm not blaming VDOT because they're doing the best job they can. But I just can't quite understand why that road can't be incorporated into some sort of a maintenance project to make it safer, make it more accessible, because right now, there's several places. It's basically, you have one car width of road. So it's, and if it's rural rustic, this is one thing that hopefully somebody can explain to me. Does eminent domain not come into play in something like this? Apparently it doesn't. I don't understand. I certainly don't understand. So, if we've got one landowner that says, no, I'm not gonna sell right of way, but we've also got a road, a stretch of road. If you check building permits right now, you'll see that road is taking, first of all, there's a lot of there's houses going up. It is taking more and more and more traffic. So I just implore the county commissioners to at least consider something to be able to maintain that road in a better condition. Please pave. I would love to see it paved. Maybe that's not gonna happen, but I would love to see it paved. But it's just, it's killing me that we just don't have a well-maintained road in that area. Thank you.
Next on the list, Mr. Rob Campbell.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
This was previously given in 2019, so some of it's outdated, but a lot of it hasn't changed. I just want to make a new copy because a lot of you, well, maybe you all, most of you were still here then. We've been doing this for 15 years. Rob Campbell,
yeah.
Burke's Fork District, and the roads that I'm discussing fall within kind of multiple districts. So it applies, as John said, feel free to come out, give me a call, we'll take a ride together, we'll look at the roads, I'll be happy to have you out. Some of you have been out before, VDOT's been out before, I've had state representatives out before. So we'd love to have you come do a tour sometime. After a storm's a great time, okay? I do have an address, we just don't have pavement on the road leading to that address. So we would like to see if we could work with that. David Clark's been great, we've been working on this for years. As many of them mentioned, I approached this from a safety concern as well. EMS, an EMS vehicle and a school bus meet or a farm truck meet, somebody's going to back up, which is going to delay response time. If they meet in a curve, one of them might end up over the ditch, over the bank. There's places there, I've got pictures in there that show there's some spots that are beyond where the pavement is gonna happen on Reedsville Road. So I'm just asking for some continued safety improvements beyond that. I understand the environmental regulations, David Clark has explained that to me. So I understand that's outside of his control. But some of the safety concerns, I really wanna see if we can have them addressed, because there's some 14.5-foot sections on those roads. And a couple vehicles meet there in an emergency situation, or otherwise it could be a very bad situation and delay response time to what's already a bad situation. I want to say thank you for you guys, what you've done in the past, what David Clark and VDOT have done in the past. There have been a lot of improvements. I crossed through a few things in that report that have been taken care of. The bridges have been improved. We greatly appreciate that. The storm cleanup. The road surface at the moment is in pretty good shape, much better than some of the photos I have there. But just want to say thank you for that and for the half mile that we can get based on environmental regulations. I appreciate it. But do please keep Reedsville on the 6-year plan to the extent that permissions and environmental regulations allow. And then beyond that, we ask for the safety improvements wherever possible. And I was asked several years ago by the Board of Supervisors to keep coming to these meetings so these projects stay on the list. So I guess it's my turn to be greedy, and I'll say that if we can only do one section now, that's our request, is that maybe the next section goes on to the plan down at the bottom, give some time for the environmental regulations to even out, and then maybe we can get that approved and continue that. Like I said, we've been doing this for 15 plus years, and I appreciate all that y'all have done for us. And I just want to thank you all. And as this gentleman said, his wife said he had to say certain things, so my wife wanted me to bring up Wills Ridge Road, which has had some improvements, but they're breaking through again. It is a paved road, but we travel that one every day. So just wanted to add that one as well. Thank you all very much.
And, Mr. Jack Wall.
Good evening, I'm Jack Wall, Little River District. I live in Floyd Eco Village, but I work with a company called SWVA Biochar. It's on Sam's Road. We've had a bumper year this year, and I think it'll continue on because we've got a lot of wood coming from all the ice storm. But that road, there's a Sam's Road comes off of Franklin Pike. If you go down 0.2 of a mile from Franklin Pike, you get to where the main entrance on the SWVA Biochar business, which we have this period. We're getting on average about a truck every 10 minutes going down there, anything from pickup trucks to semi trucks with heavy propane fuel and things like that. It's a very busy road. I will have to say though, VDOT does an amazing job. The VDOT gods are with us, or the angels, I guess, because there's a guy that maintains that gravel road. He's out there every couple of months putting on new gravel and grading it. So as a gravel road, it's in really great condition, but it is really heavily traveled. I mean, the amount of traffic on there, and it's almost all trucks. So it's not a very long road. In fact, if you went down a quarter mile, you'd get to the entrance to the back entrance to the Eco Village, which would be nice too. But basically, it's basically the critical area where the trucks are going is a 0.2 of a mile distance. So that would be something I'd like to get some attention. I mean, I just think, you know, like I say, the gravel rate we have there now is in great shape because there's a guy that, and Jeff knows who it is, but there's a guy that's working on it all the time. But it would seem like that with the heavy traffic on that road, that it would make more sense to pave it and get the ability to have that handle that kind of truck traffic, and you know, it would be a benefit. It's not a critical need, but it would certainly be a benefit. It might, you know, take down some of the amount of labor that's going to get into putting into maintaining the gravel. Thank you very much.
So that's all. That's all. Alright, so that's the end of our speakers, so I will close the public hearing on our 6-year road plan. Can you come up? I'm gonna ask you something for you.
If there's any other questions you had now?
Yeah, this is something I noticed today that y'all might ought to look at. For all due respect to the PSA, I told them they did you a favor cutting that bank back. But I didn't have time to really look at it because of I was driving and meeting traffic, but right in the middle of that curve, when they cut it back, they sort of messed up the root system noticing them trees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid if you get a washing rain or in some wind, you're going to end up with some trees out the road.
Where is that again?
Outside
Right
of town,
just
below
as-
food line,
Okay.
curve
Yeah.
below food line.
You can't miss it. Say cut the bank off of it.
Yeah, the trees,
Yeah.
thank you, they're there.
But they, you know, I don't guess they intended to, but they sort of got back near the root systems. The way we've been getting these washing rains,
Yeah.
I think they need to get one of them now. But
And I think been a long time since I've seen what the right of way through there is, but I think the trees is actually in your right of way.
Could be, it's probably, it's a lot on 221 there.
But I can't see the people there fussing about going ahead even if you have to ask
I'll take a look.
permission.
And about halfway up the mountain, I've been seeing about that much of a
There's a
barrel
reason you come that way.
that y'all use for barricades set up beside the road, and I thought somebody run over one of the barrels and cut it too. I noticed today, the barrel's actually sitting in a hole.
Where you can only see the tip top of it, yeah.
Yeah, you can only see about, if it's that deep, it's gonna underscore that pavement there. Cause it's right up against the pavement.
Is it real? Yeah, I'll go.
I'm pretty sure it's the whole barrel, that's what
It is, the whole barrel's in that hole.
All right, anything else on 6-year plan stuff though?
Thank you.
If not, I'm gonna
Safe drive home.
get out of here.
He said not tonight, when you wanna add our 6-year plan, when you
Talk
want.
about it at our day meeting or?
Yeah, we can talk about that again, at the next month's, meeting, and I'll get some input from you guys if you know, maybe look around some of this other stuff or had some other ideas, and then I'll get a draft resolution ready for, maybe the second May meeting or the first June meeting.
And keep it on your list if you would, you know, we did that drive around there at one time.
Yeah.
Of course, that was before the pandemic hit, but it really helped me
Yes.
because we rode around into the different districts. I could understand what's going on more in your district by looking at it than I can sitting here and the same thing in everybody's.
You'd like to do
So
that?
if we could
Let me
get
know,
back
yeah.
and doing that, you know, pick some days out or something.
Yeah, be good.
I think that'd be good for the whole group. Don't forget
June
Levi.
7th is out, I'm doing
Hey, you
the
Levi?
same thing with Montgomery next, on June 7th.
Wait a minute.
Levi? Wake up.
You there, Levi?
Yeah.
Do you have
I
anything?
don't think that was Snake.
I'm good.
And like I was
I'm
telling you,
just listening.
I do need a resolution by the end of the fiscal year to turn in, but you can always amend that resolution. Your hands aren't tied on that until next spring.
Right.
Pass a resolution anytime that supersedes the one
Well,
you
once
just
we
did, but I
talk-
gotta have something in there.
Once we talk to you at our next meeting
Yeah.
about the road additions and what
Yeah.
we're leaving and what may come out, then
I have no doubt we'll have it ready.
I would think we could adopt it that day
Yeah.
before we leave.
We'll get it to you.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Safe
David.
travel.
Yeah, be careful.
Well, before we move on to, well, we got public comments coming up.
Yeah.
I done read my declaration, I'm not reading it again. So with that, I'll open up our public comment period. When you come forward, state your name, district you're from, limit your comments to 4 minutes.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we've had one person that signed up for public comment, and that is Paul Kitchen from the Little River District.
I'm Paul Kitchen with the Little River District. My comments are actually now redundant from what I've heard, so I won't take up your time, other than to thank you for your service, the many hours that you put in, and the commitment you have to serving this community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If nobody objects, before we move down to old business, let's take about a 5-minute break.
Sounds good.
We'll be back in session.
Didn't always do well.
A little bit, yeah, because I serve on the electoral board and I want to.
No, just you're done sorting me over there.
Trey was leaving. Trey was leaving.
That's what I did.
And I like it.
Simply filling the face.
Maybe
Yeah, my chair ain't much count.
He found that out.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
We may
It'll take
have
a
to
while
talk
to
to
get
county
before the
administrator about
Chair
that.
is not much count because he has to keep raising
I
the.
know my
Well,
I know my
Alrighty, we'll move on down to old business here.
Mr. Chair, if I might, may I make a motion?
She's gonna make a motion on this here,
Yeah, can we amend?
Or,
this,
I guess we can do these two
said
first.
do these
Yeah,
two.
we'll do this
So
two.
they won't take
Okay,
long.
never mind,
okay.
I don't think.
alright,
This, we're taking both of them.
okay.
On the burn ban,
All right, so Mr. Chairman, if I might, excuse me, folks.
Apologize.
Thank you. So, as you know, at your meeting, 2 weeks ago, you all, decided to continue the burn ban in Floyd County, and you wanted to revisit that at the next meeting, so this is the next meeting. And, wanted to see if you want to leave that in place, if you wanna modify it or remove it.
I would like to lift it because I've got a lot of people wanting it, but I want to put a couple of stipulations on it. They need to follow the state guidelines of not burning within 300 feet of the woods.
Mhm.
Every fire shall not be left unattended.
Kim,
And I forgot what the second one was. Give me a second. Well, go ahead
No,
now
I'm
if I could.
I'm sorry, I would say, also think.
Oh, if you got, you check with the weather people, if the wind is blowing more than 15-mile-an-hour sustained winds, don't burn.
More than 50?
15.
Well, it gets to
15.
50 at my house, so I wouldn't be surprised.
So,
I mean, I can't ever burn in my house.
no,
Nothing between me
I
and
mean,
West
it's-
Virginia but a barbed wire fence.
it's getting dry again,
Yeah.
but I think there's enough green grass right now that if you're careful, you can, you know,
Can we, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I have one thing. Can we put our own do not burn until after 4?
it's already in effect till,
I
well,
thought it
what
ended
you
on
wanna
the
do is
15th.
extend
I
the
wanna
state ones.
extend
Yeah.
that one.
I would like to add, please call dispatch before you like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we try to encourage that all we can,
Yeah.
is to call dispatcher, and that's way your neighbor's not reporting.
I know we're having some rain, we're having some drizzle, but after digging in the ground this past weekend, it's not penetrating.
Bone dry.
It's-
Try to drive a T-post.
Yeah, right. And so I don't mind, with what you were talking about, but I also want us to look into extending do not burn until after 4. If
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that now, extend it, you can't burn after 4 for like the 1st of June.
If we have that authority.
Well,
Steve's
so,
thinking
so if I might, I can't answer that part, but while they're chatting, if you don't mind, I did pull up what Christiansburg has. Because they have, both Montgomery County has an annual burn ban that ends April 30th. And then, of course, Christiansburg has one, and I was looking through what some of their requirements are. They have a 4 PM as well. And then it goes, but that runs to April 30th. Then they also say, no campfires. They're considered an open air fire, but a recreational campfire may be approved if it meets all the following criteria. The fire is completely contained within a ring of rocks, cinder blocks, metal ring, etc. Oh, and also covered by a screen. must be attended at all times, ready access to water, etc. And some special language about commercially available chimichangas or fire pits are not considered open fire. So those are some of the things that are in areas around us that you might consider.
Good.
I am not comfortable lifting the burn ban. I feel that we are still extremely dry. I know people are upset. I know people wanna burn the brush that fell. I know people wanna clean up their yards, they wanna clean up their farms. Believe me, I have brush piles that are very large that I would like to burn on my farm, but I just don't believe we have had enough rain. And I'm very concerned about the strength of the winds. The pressure gradients that are developing between lows and highs have produced winds later and in excess of 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. And the average Joe and Jane and Steve and Lynn don't know how high the wind is blowing. So I understand how people are frustrated by this burn ban, but I don't wanna see Floyd County look like parts of western North Carolina that are now burning. And the reason why we have haze and smoke in our region is because of those fires. Now, I know they've got a lot more tinderbox conditions because of Helene, but I will tell you, I'm just not comfortable with lifting the ban, so I will vote no. And that's just where I stand on the issue.
What do you think, Levi?
Well, it's raining in Tennessee right now. As bad as I want to burn my own brush, and I'm not a firefighter, but I just don't think the conditions have really changed since we last spoke about it. I'm going to I'm probably gonna just have to say no this time myself.
That's a pretty active line you got there that you're driving through.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, maybe it'll make its way up to y'all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we've got 3 people that's already said no, so there's no use to be labored.
As much as I'd love to burn some of our brush too, I just don't wanna burn the neighbor's
Is there a
fields.
time limit on the burn ban we have in place?
60
Yes.
days.
60 days from the date of adoption.
And when
Which was
it
May
adopted?
20
Adopted this May,
It's May
March.
23rd.
22nd is when it was adopted.
No, but we go until May.
Yeah, oh,
So
May 22nd, I think, was the,
May 22nd, then we
That
have
was
to
the 60.
either re-adopt or it runs out on its own.
it will expire on its own, or you'll need to adopt a different ordinance.
Right.
Well, if we was to get maybe a little tropical depression that lay on us for about 3 days raining, we may revisit and
Use it.
yeah. But right now, I'm not
Let's take care of
lifting.
that.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we won't beat that horse no more, we just put him out.
okay, so
Let them go to the barn.
we're just gonna go, I just wanna make it clear for the record that that there has been a determination by the board
That
That
we're
we're not-
letting
we're
it run
continuing the
60
ban?
days, yeah.
Not to
The
modify.
chair.
Not to
on
modify.
his
We've got an
own
ordinance in
hold.
place, and there's been no motion to modify or repeal.
Thank you. All right, next, Mr. Chairman, you have naming of the shared drive, 635 Haycock Road, tax map 56, 152, 56, 152B, and 56, 152C. You'll recall this item was on the agenda for the meeting last week, and since Mr. Booth was not able to attend, you all decided to hold off till today.
I see nothing wrong with it, it looks like it met all the requirements.
I think Linda had a problem with,
I was just concerned about the similar names.
Yeah, I had the same feeling. I don't know, it's just, with all the names he could come up with, I mean. But it's your district.
Well, it is,
I mean, it's not, you know, it's a pretty rural area out that way. And if we've got a fire and rescue running down Haycock, and then they've gotta look for Haycock Acres, I mean, I don't know. It would just seem to me that they could have come up with a little bit more of a distinctive name.
I don't disagree, but it's within the parameters of what we allow, so we need to go. I don't disagree.
Yep.
But if we consider this type of thing a problem, we need to go into those policies and actually write up no similar names to existing or something. Because right now, it meets the criteria of what's there. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but do you hear where I'm coming from?
Yeah,
We
I
need
do.
to- We need to address that in another.
So if you're concerned about it, you could table action and change the policy,
Well, I'm not gonna.
or you could,
We've already waded through.
Yeah, we waited.
No.
Just over 2 weeks.
And
Yeah.
there's been others prior to this that are similar as well, so in fairness to the people, you know, I'd make a motion to approve it if you were prepared.
Go ahead.
I'd make a motion that we approve the naming of Haycock Acres Drive.
Yeah, plural, Haycock Acres.
Does that,
Let me make sure.
does that cover what we need as far as approval?
the agenda item,
Yeah.
Cup Road,
That's why we're double checking.
that may illustrate the problem.
That's exactly how it illustrates the problem, yeah.
We had it wrong once.
So right now, it's at 635 Haycock Road,
Right.
and he wants to take
Shared
that
Drive, Haycock Acres Drive. You're right, sir.
and make it into Haycock Acres Drive. But right now, there's a mailbox, I think that's what you were speaking of, there's a mailbox down at the road.
There's 1027 is across the road, which is Tony and Sonia
Yeah.
Griffith. There's also a thing that says something like soil and something that says 1027 on it.
Yeah. Oh, whatever, 635 Haycock is what we got.
So I got a motion. Do I
Approve.
have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Call roll.
All right, on the motion to move forward with the naming of the shared drive 635 Haycock Acres Drive, tax map 56-152, 56-152B, and 56-152C. Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook?
No.
Ms. Cookenbook?
I said no.
She voted.
Who did you ask?
You
You said
called her.
cooking book.
Oh, sorry, Miss, sorry, I was looking straight at you, Ms. Bechtel, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Cox?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Turman?
Yes.
All right, thank you, that is approved 4-1.
And if you could put on your board to address,
Mm-hmm.
review this policy.
Review the similar name policy.
Yeah,
Okay,
It
thank
may
you.
not even be a similar name policy, I don't think.
I know years ago when they was naming the roads, you weren't supposed to name them after people, but I know a lot of roads in this.
Yeah,
That
right.
got named after
Yep.
people.
Yep.
Starter Jobs, one of them.
There you
Yep.
go.
Alright,
The old man used to sit on his cabin porch and play his fiddle and people all the way downtown could hear it.
So this
Mr.
approval of the
Stalker?
6-year road plan, we can just sort of take,
He's supposed to
Table
have
that to her
some
day shift.
revolutionary goals created up there somewhere.
so the addressing
so the
Policy.
next would be our Ford County address and policy.
Mr. Chair, if I might make the motion to adopt the ordinance repealing and adopting section 6253 of the Code of Floyd, Virginia, the version that allows the county administrator or other designated official to assign the address. This is something that I've been working on for 2 years, and works, government works this pace of slow molasses, so I'm
It's a while for
happy.
the big wheel to go around.
Yeah, I'm happy to be able to do this for y'all. It's important.
Thank you.
Would you amend the motion
To take effect May
May
first
first
of
to
this
give staff time to lay
Yes.
out procedures? Can we do that?
2
Has
weeks.
it been seconded yet?
Second.
No.
Yeah, so she can amend the motion.
So for this ordinance to take effect May first, to give staff
We can do that. We can set
time
that
to
as the,
prepare
alright.
for the onslaught.
I'll second that if you.
Caught up?
I am,
Okay.
thank you.
There's so much coming at you, I didn't know.
She was
Do we have some
listening
discussion?
that time, wasn't
Discussion?
Yeah.
Alright,
I got a question.
Go ahead, Levi.
This is the one that if you have two structures allows for multiple addresses per parcel, right?
Yes.
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 Okay, I wanted to make sure. Yeah, okay, thank you.
I also wanna just say that, the way we live nowadays is different than it was when we put this policy in place. And there was also a lot of fear that was based in the original policy. And we are now in a time of people moving from larger areas, just counties next door, whatever. And we just, like Kalinda said, she'd been working on this, we'd been talking about this for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I think. So I am just glad that we're finally here, we're at the finish line, and we're able to move forward. So without further ado, I guess, I just wanted to go on record with saying that.
We can call the roll.
Sorry for any inconvenience, which has been many.
Yes,
But not intentional.
and
Go ahead and call the roll.
added costs.
On the motion to approve the Floyd County addressing policy, the particular version that allows the county administrator or designee to make these determinations and also allows for more than one address per parcel. And that it become effective May 1
Per structure.
per structure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Not per parcel, but per structure.
Per structure.
On a parcel.
That's what this one's written
Per
as.
parcel.
No.
It allows more than one
Structure.
Structure
address
address.
Per parcel,
per parcel.
Right.
yes.
Okay.
But you can't just have a plain parcel with no structure and have two addresses.
Correct.
That's what I was trying to make sure.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. And with that, Ms. Bechtel,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
thank you, and Mr. Terman.
Yes.
All right, thank you, and that is approved. Effective May
There you
1.
go.
After May 1st, you can get your driver's license.
Thank you, Jesus.
And hope the sheriff's office is not listening.
And if I might, Ms. Chairman, thank you all for sharing your contact information so we can get up with you.
And also there's
First line.
one correspondence here as well.
Yeah, there's a correspondence.
There's a correspondence in here. There are two, one of them, Anand, Carrie are together, but the Ruth Kylemeyer.
She'll be calling me in the morning.
Okay.
Find out what
This is
happened.
just for her to sign.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
That
all
is
right,
correct.
I can sign her name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else that I need?
Thank you, Steve.
You're
You
welcome.
may create them, but you address them
For
in
one
different
time.
We
ways.
didn't even feed you. How terrible is that?
Yeah, isn't that nice?
It does feel good when you can help people out.
So with that, we'll move down to naming the Meadow Hill Drive, and this will be in my district, and looks like they crossed all the T's and dotted every I, so
That's an easy one.
it's an easy one. Safe travels, Mr. Durbin.
Thank you all.
Thank
Good
you.
to see everybody.
Be
Watch
safe.
out for the bear, deer, and the turkey, all right?
See ya.
This is the one in the new form.
Thank y'all.
Hope things work out.
Yes.
Kids, that's in my district, and this is a small unit, I can make a motion, so I'll take a motion if we accept it.
Ken?
Are you making that motion?
Yes, I
I'll-
just did, nobody's
I'll
listening.
second.
I was listening. I'll,
But my arm was this way, by the way.
I'll
this way.
second it, if
Okay.
that's appropriate.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All right, so on the motion to name the shared drive, Meadow Hill Drive, tax map ID 6236, 6236B, 6236C, 6236E, Burks Fork District. Mr. Terman,
Yes,
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Bechtel,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
and, Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Thank you. I hope, by the way, as a side note, you all saw this as more readable. You will see Gabby redesigned the form for this one. And and it is ADA compliant. So just wanted to make sure you saw that. Next, Mr. Chairman, the next page is new business. Hopefully reappointment of Linda Millsaps as the Floyd County Public Official Representative to the Onward Board of Directors for a 2-year term.
So moved.
Second.
motion is second, call the roll, while we got on the hook, don't let her off.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. On the motion to reappoint myself, Linda Millsaps, as the Floyd County Public Official Representative to the Onward Board of Directors for a 2-year term effective July 1, 2025. Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Ms. Bechtel,
Yes.
thank you. Mr. Cox,
Yes.
thank you, and Mr. Terman.
Yes,
All right, thank you. We'll let them know, cause I had to notify them by Friday, so thank you. Next is another reappointment of Mr. Klein Hall to the Uniform Statewide Building Code Local Board of Appeals for a 4-year term effective July 1, 2025.
He was contacted.
He, yes.
I'll make that motion
She's,
to reappoint Klein.
I'll second.
Thank you.
See, so it's in my
motion
district.
second, call the roll.
Okay, sir. On the motion to reappoint Mr. Klein Hall to the Uniform Statewide Building Code Local Board of Appeals for a 4-year term effective July 1, 2025. Ms. Bechtel,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Booth,
yes.
and Mr. Terman.
Yes,
All right,
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that with your paper.
That's all right.
That's a pretty good clue on this one.
It's very good.
all right, goes down to the board time, anybody got anything? You
Nope.
got anything, Levi?
I don't, just, it's been a good evening.
All righty.
I just have one thing to say, and I wanna thank staff for all their work on the budget so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a lot of work yet to do,
Yeah.
but really thank y'all for all the staff.
Thank you.
And I'll also mention something, and I just wanna mention to those folks out in the audience, and I know that I've seen stuff on social media. If anybody ever wants to talk to me about anything, I use social media to inform folks about weather and other things like that. If you wanna talk to me about things, you can, my email is there and my phone number is there. So on the assess, please don't, you have to it's your the tax, say that. I know that out.
Social media. Questions. Trying to be as
Well, I worked on county administrative update, which I will send to you tomorrow, but I was I'm actually kind of scared to send it to you because when I opened it, I also managed to open a bunch of Word documents for so and figure that out thing to you. Right?
Like a smart move.
Don't want
Don't. Couple of things and last 2 weeks other communities about some of these, so I won't do all of them with written documents. In here, the phone call with and February 20th, paused requirements included both their staffing funds there at VDEM and also a bunch of the disaster recovery funds. So at the time we had the emergency preparedness fair, 80% of their positions were not funded after May 1. But that has changed, and so that's what part of the good news is. As of April 17th, FEMA began releasing holds on non-disaster grant funds, allowing $7.7 million to be released to VDEM to help cover expenses already paid by local governments like us. And we, of course, got an award letter already, so that means those funds will now flow.
That was on April 9th, is that correct? And it's in our packet?
That's correct.
For 20,000?
Yep, the
Okay, great.
20,000 one, yes.
Great.
We, of course, have a couple of other ones of much more significant size that we're working through the system, but that 20,000 will now be released.
Excellent.
And so additional disaster relief funds have also started flowing with more than 101 million being dispersed in just since April 17th. And some of that will be coming to some of the surrounding localities. I shared with you already about the APCO committee that I am on, and that we are continuing to look at litigation options related to rates, both for local governments and for people that live in our community, and continue to work that. Bears, of course, as you know, we have closed the Greenbox site at Slaughters, and I think we pulled another one today. I'm not sure if it's
Another one?
happening yet.
Franklin Pike.
No.
I mean,
No.
Christiansburg.
Well, that was done.
Wrong Pike.
That was
Yeah.
done.
Christiansburg Pike.
That was done a week and a half ago.
Yeah, we have-
We closed Franklin Pike, we done
We have big
messed up.
trouble. I think we have one more.
It is, but now been about 12 hours
Well,
of
when did we
meetings.
close?
Well, we may not have closed it. There was a difference of opinion. And so I'll send you all a note and we'll put on Facebook if we end up going that direction. If we're
Okay.
gonna give it another try or not.
I'll tell you, Good and Richard was telling me that him and King, their night was patrolling. They'd go out Route 8 and they had to stop down here and move trash bags out of Route 8. They would go to Montgomery County line, turn around, and come back and have to stop and
Move them again.
they was dragging them out as soon as they could, you know.
Wow.
I told him he should have sat there and surveilled them a little bit.
Some of the,
Used one of them ROS rifles on it.
Yeah, right.
some of the worst sites, and I know our guys is working like crazy, but even, I hate to say this, but even if it takes a little bit of overtime, some of these worst sites may need to be done, maybe be picked up even twice a day.
Okay.
You know, if
To
they
try
did
not
it
to
late
have
in the
much left overnight.
if they did it late in the afternoon, and then they'd have empty boxes overnight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, that is
Whatever
interesting.
thing work out on.
When the bears are rolling.
Right, just not too late at night when the bears would be inside.
No.
That'd be
Well,
nice.
you just put them in the truck and mash them and go on. And the guys at the transfer station will have a ball the next morning.
You'll be a little irritated when you open it.
Maybe.
Get a little bit.
maybe. So as you know, of course, the one at Slaughters has been closed. We've been working with the property owner there because we understand that's one that's pretty important to the community. And so we
They're
made.
all important.
Yes, so we've made some arrangements to try to get the grass mowed and to also be cleaning the bank and he's allowing us to clear some of the shrubs and underbrush there that is trapping a lot of that.
Would he
So-
allow us
And for
to
a fence.
put some sort of little fence around there to catch that trash when it blows?
He is allowing us to also do effectively a small demonstration fence is what I would call it.
Okay, yeah.
It is, because it is a smaller site, we wanted to give it a shot to try to just put it on the backside, kind of round it and see what happens.
Keeps it out of Dodge Creek and
Yes.
people don't have to pick it up.
And when we get to it, the one on Route 8, when we, you know, that has the capability, especially since we lowered the speed limit by 15 mile an hour, of being a completely fenced in
Yeah, it sure
facility.
does.
But you'll have to come in, you'll have to leave it where VDOT can still get to the gravel.
Right.
But you'll have to pull off into the area and then drive into it. You wouldn't be able to drive straight off of Route 8.
Right.
But that's gonna eventually, I mean, if you look over that bank down through there,
Yes.
thank goodness it's wrecked property.
But the VDOT gravel could be moved up the road a piece.
That's up to VDOT.
But I'm just saying, I mean, they could move it up to their other site that's on Route 8 at
You got that speed limit,
Plenty.
speed limit reduced.
It's down to
brine
40.
tank and the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards, just
Yeah.
move everything up there.
Probably getting people fussing.
You right.
Well,
I
I'm
said,
getting,
blame Jerry Booth. He's
well, that's fine. You get those, cause all the calls and the comments I've got,
Yeah.
except for one, is been tickled to death.
What?
With the 40 mile an hour speed.
Yeah.
limit.
Yep.
I asked one guy this, why do you think it necessary to drive that fast down through there? He don't like that.
No, I guess it did, probably did.
I have one person, they drive a school bus, and they were a little fussing about it going from 35 to 40, but
2 minutes. That's all it's going, well, they won't even cut that off you.
no. And it's a safety for the citizens
Yep.
and safety for our drivers. Them big trucks can't get out in a 55 and,
Yep.
you know, so. But we can look
How
at.
long did
Continue
you
on?
work?
Okay. So the next item I wanted to, but ask you if you, well, I'll send you a note and ask you if you like the sign out there. It's the first time we bought a sign like that too.
Out at the site,
Out at Slaughters.
yeah, I give it an A+.
I would like the website on there,
Oh, okay.
so people can refer to the website. And then random things, the burn ban needs to be on a banner on the page so it doesn't drop off.
Thank you, we'll do that. Moving on to playground equipment. We are in the process of installing new playground equipment for the smaller children.
The kiddie side.
Yeah,
The kitty size ones.
Right.
Yep, that is being, Andrew and Jacob and Christian have been working on that quite a
Right.
bit. And so, of course, that was actually funded entirely through the Tides Foundation, so
Yeah.
we didn't have to put any money into that. It was a very nice get,
Yeah.
so that's awesome. Buildings, well, I'll go back to building security. Radio tower development, we have the services procured for Hurt and Profit to conduct those surveys for both of those proposed sites. And they have all the information they need to take care of that. And a new signed contract with the Blue Ink, like we talked about, has been mailed to the landowner on Florida, so that's the update on that.
Good.
The NRV recovery ecosystem, Kim and I both sat in the last update from them, which pretty much reported that they did turn in our submission for an additional year. So another round of funding through the OAA and for us to get the gold standard funds. They seem to get a very positive reception from OAA. And as I mentioned to you before, the way it's structured, we still get money, additional money for our peer recovery center. It's just gonna flow through community services, cause then it's not a new project. It's the same amount of money that we would have gotten otherwise. So we appreciate community services doing that for us. Audit update. Boy, Kim, we thought about 3 times now, we had answered all the audit questions, but now that it's gone to the senior partners, they have many more questions. So we've been continuing to work on that, and she and Jenny have been doing an awesome job of digging out files and finding
Bring
Excel
this up to-
documents and all kinds of things. So it's been all while trying to work on the budget, so been very impressive work on their part, wanted to give them kudos for
Those
that.
big dogs have gotta earn their bonuses,
Oh, yeah.
so,
That's it.
I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Let's see, wanted to of course remind you all that we have the Tourism Summit on the 29th, the morning of the 29th. And see if you all would be able to attend.
Yeah, I was gonna, but I got an appointment that's cropped up, so I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I am too.
We were gonna have presenters from Crooked Road and several of the other outside organizations, so not just, it's facilitated by the Virginia Tourism Corporation, but folks, but then with a lot of outside speakers, so.
Is
What is
Round
the
the
hours?
Mountain in that too?
Sorry?
Round the Mountain?
I think so, I'll double check. I
What
think
are the
so.
hours gonna be?
I think it's let me check. It's on my calendar here. That's not a phone.
It's 9, on Tuesday, it's 9 to noon.
9
Thank
to
you.
noon? Yeah, I just don't think I can make it back.
Okay, so 9 to noon. I'll go back to that. Onward Executive Committee meeting update, I usually don't give those, but I did want to alert you that Onward has changed some of its and reduced its giving targets for private sector employers because they are seeing a pretty substantial downturn in what people are willing to commit outside. So there is a certain amount of softness in the economy in the New River Valley, and so I wanted to make sure you all were alerted to that. Trash truck lease purchase, all closing, all done, so that's good. I showed you all before that I met with Dr. Cromer, with Jacob to work out some things on the fields, and we are at a really good place there and want to thank her. And the new athletic coach, or athletic director, Mr. Cromer, not related, for all of his help in working with us. It has been a really positive thing, very good relationship.
And I have to ask,
Hmm.
have we scheduled anything on the third field at Floyd Elementary yet?
Have we scheduled anything? We fixed it as best we can. It is still too small.
It'll be T-ball.
The only thing we can play is T-ball.
Well, that's what
So,
was played on it anyway.
Yeah.
okay,
That's all I was after, was just
okay,
an upgrade, because
And
we
then-
told them we would address all fields.
we did.
And I wasn't expecting that one to be made into,
Major League.
Wrigley Field. It just is in better shape, and now you can do T-ball there.
Yep.
You can do T-ball on the other one if you want to, and you can do coach pitch at the other, and they're not gonna, you
That's
can
right.
have 3 games down there. That
Absolutely.
was the whole idea. And
Yep, exactly.
Same thing at Czech with Levi. Now that you got 2 fields, you can have 2 games going on, open things up more.
That'd be great. Yes, so we've been working on it. We haven't scheduled anything yet.
Well, that's
But,
fine, but
yes.
the field work has been
The field work has been done.
Okay.
It has been completed
I
there.
won't bring it up anymore then, I promise.
Okay, well, for that one, we do still have a little more work to do at Indian Valley.
Well,
At the chat, so I
That-
was-
That's on that, any Valley's on that end of the table, I'll let you bring it up.
But we have, that doesn't get used by the county that often. But we are aware that it is often used by the community.
Constantly.
And especially for like reunions and those kind of things, so
But
we plan
if
to get it
things
done.
progress as we plan, and we get more and more participation,
There'll be a need.
there'll be a need for that field out there.
There's
And
people
it'll
on
be
it every
prepared and
weekend.
ready to go.
Okay. My last item, unless you have questions for us, has to do with building security. So first, I wanted to let everybody know that as you requested, Mark and I met with Captain Marshall from the Sheriff's Office to discuss security modifications for this building, both as we're currently using it and possibilities as we eventually move into the other 2 floors. And so I think we have a really good plan there and appreciate his help. I guess this is part of what he used to do in Christiansburg, is go out to different buildings and different businesses and help them. So that was really helpful. As you know, we have a request for similar conversation in the courthouse. And so as a follow-up to some of the communication, we have scheduled, I'm gonna have to miss a little bit of the tourism summit. I figured you all would think this was very important, which is, Mark and I will go over and meet with Rhonda, Judge Fleener, and whoever else that they wanna bring. That's who called me. That we'll meet with them to get some ideas about security plans, what are some of their ideas, and also put some parameters in, like, kind of, we only have so much money in the world, so I think.
When you plan on doing that?
It is the 29th. Would you like to join us, sir?
I would.
It's, we scheduled, I think, for 10 o'clock. I'll send you a note.
At 10
o'clock on the 29th?
Remind me of that.
That would be great. We would love that. And
You may not think so.
and I just
That's
wanted,
good, you go. I didn't say that.
yeah, I think it'd be great that he comes with us, and I just
I
wanted
guess they
to,
heard that real well, didn't they?
I wanted to clarify in our official meeting some kind of unofficial conversation about that that you all would like us to chat with them and have an understanding, but ultimately you would like the courthouse folks to send us some thoughts in writing about what they would propose for their security. So just wanted to make sure that I have four head nods, and I can't see Levi's head, so I guess make sure that's
I
okay.
heard some water splashing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And I'll take a hit for it, but we also need to remind people that that is a gun-free, weapons-free zone, just like this building is right now. And I don't know if they have signage up or not, but that may be something else that we.
Yep.
That's more from a COA standpoint than anything, but
Yep.
if it is supposed to be a gun-free zone, then it should have signs up stating that.
Well, and I will point out, not about guns, but just weapons.
Free.
Weapons free. So I will point out, there is a second metal detector over there that is in case we need it for the second courtroom, so there are some options available depending what they want to do, that have already been purchased. So hopefully reduce some of the
But
cost.
somebody would have to be assigned to be there to monitor it.
Yeah, the sheriff's department takes care of that.
What's one
Cause
thing?
everybody bitches because they have to purchase.
Good.
So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I had from my report. Again, apologies that I'm not sending this to you, but it's just a little spooky. I did want to bring your attention, sorry?
No, go ahead.
I did want to bring your attention to 15, two additional items in correspondence, and of course, in addition to these, you've all spotted some letters that you received related to the public hearing, so I wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Yeah.
Put the names because
Yes.
then it's on file. It's two emails from Carrie O'Connor and Ruth Kallmeyer, if I pronounced that correctly. There's two email correspondence that's been placed in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and then just let you know, we have a couple of small grant awards that have come through from VDEM. One is the one that we use to help pay Brandon. And then there's another smaller one also related to dispatch. Those were applied for some time ago. Together, they're less than $20,000, but it's still money. So, it's good.
That's all you get me.
That's right.
As well as the FEMA one for
Especially
$20,844.
Right.
Yep, so all three of those. And then finally, I wanted to just draw your attention to, we put in your packet a road abandonment policy proposal for review. So you all have asked us to look at that. That's based on what Carla's recollection, that's the right word? Carla's recollection was of what you all requested, so we didn't put it on the agenda because we wanted to give you all an opportunity to think about it a little bit more, see if we missed anything. But I did want to get it before you soon, because as you know, Ladina's gonna be leaving for vacation in about a week and a half. And Carla is also not going to be available she'll be around, but she will not be available for either of the May meetings. So wanted to make sure you had it. If you have any questions, please get them to myself, Carla, and then we'll see if you don't have any modifications. If it's all right with the chairman, we'll put it on for our next meeting.
Well, yeah, I think we still need to discuss.
We agreed on April the 30th for a budget meeting. Is that-
Yes, we did.
Well, I'm free that day. That's at 9 o'clock.
Budget workshop. Yes,
A budget workshop at 9 AM on the 30th.
9 to noon, lunch, and then go back.
Can we wait on the road abandonment till after the budget's done?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Okay. I just know that some of you had made commitments to people to get something moving, and so, but it's whatever you all would like to do.
I know one group that's been very patiently waiting, and I know another one in my district that's been, because when we started that, we said we would have it by April, we said we'd have it in January, but
Yeah, well.
Speed of
So
government at its finest.
Nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, on the motion to adjourn, let's see, Mr. Derman, Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Cox? Already gone.
Yep.
Say, Cox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Ms. Bechtel?
Yes.
And let's see, Jerry, did I call you there?
no.
Jerry,
Yes.
Mr. Booth, oh,